All right, let's talk the latest episode of New Jersey. Gifts and receipts. Okay, this was honestly a jam-packed episode. A lot went on pretty much with, yeah, most of the cast, I would say. I'm not gonna do like scene by scene, at least I'll try not to. I just feel like a lot happened, and if we do like scene by scene, it's gonna take forever. But I have a feeling this recap will take a while since there was a lot of back and forth. And Melissa's party, there were a couple scenes at the end. I had to like rewatch it a couple times. I was like, wait, this person's going after this person. This person's bringing this up. Holy moly, camole. It was a lot. So, with that said, let's get into the Jersey recap. And in the meantime, subscribe. I post New Jersey recaps, talk all things Bravo, Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, and some good pop culture tea. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and definitely like this video. Let's talk Jersey. Okay, I love that Melissa is trying to host a classy party, but like obviously that's not how it's going to be. But we get to the party at the end. We leave off with the conversation between the Fudas, Teresa, and Louis. Now, this was a very short conversation. Clearly, it was only a couple minutes at the end of the last episode. And then I don't even know why they left a cliffhanger into this episode. They literally showed like 30 seconds of it and then both couples leaving, walking into the driveway. Now, Teresa, it seemed like she tried to give some form of an apology. She's like, if I said you were the biggest, dealer in Bergen County, I apologize for that. Like the way she was coming through. Teresa was not giving table flipping Teresa, but hey, if you want to go there, if you want to bring that Teresa out, keep negging her. But then the Fudas seemed like they walked in with an agenda. Like, it doesn't matter what Teresa said. If the apology didn't come in the form that they wanted it, it would not be an acceptable apology. Because Fuda's like, it's not authentic to me. I want to hear an authentic apology. Okay, he doesn't talk like that, but you guys get the point there. Tell me why Mr. Tomato Head was sitting there so calm. He wanted to hear out John Fuda. Even Rachel piped up when, it came time to talking about her oldest son's mom, whose, biological mom isn't really in the picture, but Rachel adopted him and, they're a beautiful, happy family. But yeah, back to Mr. Tomato Head. Really, John Fuda is talking to Teresa literally a feet and a half away from you in that tone, in that manner, and you're just sitting there letting her have it, letting her try and apologize in whatever Teresa fashion, and then John Fuda is like banging the table. Okay, I don't know if you bang the table, but you guys get it. John's demeanor. That is so embarrassing for a grown man to have his wife spoken to like that. Like, I mean, I'll use me. I'll use myself an example. I'm married to a 6 feet tall guy, blue eyes, handsome guy. If another man looks at me weird, my husband's gonna get pissed. You mess with me, you mess with him. You mess with my husband, you mess with me. We're an entity. Once you enter the sanctity of marriage, you become an entity. So, Fuda speaking to Teresa like that, Louis should feel it in his soul that Fuda's talking to him like that. If you guys are married, if you guys, are partnered up, booed up, if you know what I mean, comment below. If you are okay with Louis sitting there, Mr. Tomato Head, being all calm, cool, collected, but then he's like, I don't know. We see some heat once he's in the parking lot. I don't know. I just feel like Louis' demeanor, there's no explanation for it. It was very odd. Like, this is the one time he chooses to be calm. Anyways, that scene finished up. We obviously see Teresa and Louis leave the bottle and the card. And no, sorry, the Fudas left the bottle and the card, which Louis and Teresa wanted, them to give to Melissa's party. But we're gonna get to the bottle and the card later on. The bottle and the card somehow makes its way to Melissa's party, so we will get to that. All right, we got Dolo and her mom and her daughter, which I thought, it's such a cute scene. Like, absolutely adore the family scenes when it comes to New Jersey. Like, that's really what New Jersey is all about, why we fell in love with New Jersey in the first place. Guys, this was honestly so embarrassing. Like, when your mom is like bringing up valid points, and it doesn't matter if you are 10, 30, 40-year-old woman, 50-year-old woman, your mom, it doesn't matter at what age, when she asks you certain questions, it's because she cares for you. She's concerned for you. And then same with her daughter. Her adult daughter is asking the same questions like, what's going on with you and Paulie? Like, okay, you guys aren't engaged, but you've been living at the man's house for a year. He's still not divorced. He's been separated for 14 years. Like, hello, is there any movement there? Dolores, we get it. At your age, a ring, it might not mean a thing, unlike us girls in our 20s and 30s, where we want that ring, we want that family, if you take the traditional route. She's telling her mom and her daughter about some electrical work, some business Polly wants to go into with her. How romantic. How romantic. If my husband was like, hey, I really like you. Like, I'm so into you. I want to go into business with you. I'm not going to give you that fat diamond ring. I'd be like, boy, get the F out of here. You're wasting my time. Like, shoot, go away. I don't know what's going on with Dolores. Like, the world, we adore Dolores. We think she's like, the strong, beautiful lady, Dolores from Patterson. And then we see these men, they give her toys like a house, what was it, that Porsche Cayenne, or it was some car that the doctor gave her. They give her like the Barbie house toys, but they don't give her the ring. And then they play with her time. It's like, Dolores girl, what's going on here? And then in her confessional, she downplays the ring and talks about how, oh, men and their finances and their business and their money, that's like the highest form of, I forget the wording she used, but it's kind of like that's like the highest form of appreciation. Like, look, he wants to go into business with me, which means he really trusts me. This is not very romantic at all. Like, Polly, stop playing with her girl Dolores. You know, Also, guys, I have been seeing some conversation about Paulie being Catholic, but like that wouldn't make any sense. Like, okay, he's an Irish Catholic, but he is technically living in sin with Dolores in that beautiful townhouse. So, conversation about his religion, his denomination, I don't think is a factor. I really think Dolores, not Dolores, Paulie and his, I guess I can't say ex wife, Holly and the women who he has been separated to for 14 years, I really think it comes to money and business dealings. But look, we literally have celebrities. Heck, J-Lo and Ben, they are getting a divorce. I'm sure they will get divorced within the next year and finalize it. I'm assuming they had a prenup, but still, we literally have celebrities who get divorces and they have like, multi-million dollar portfolios and they figure out a way. And you're telling me Polly and his wife cannot figure it out. And at this point, what is it, 14, 15 years now? It's not a good look. All right, so obviously the talk of the town is Melissa and Joe's housewarming party. This scene was kind of awkward, but like I'm glad the producers left it in there. Jennifer Aydin and Bill Aydin talk about attending Melissa and Joe Gorga's party. Jennifer Aydin and Melissa seem to have patched things up, to a point where they feel comfortable hanging out with each other, going to lunch together, where they kind of patch things up. But obviously, things are still a little bit awkward between Jennifer Aydin and Joe Gorga. So, of course, Jennifer Aydin feels a little, awkward going into the man's house. And Jen's like, Bill, you better have my back, which, is understandable. Bill asks Jen Aydin, is Teresa okay with it? Which is like so weird. Like, who cares if another, person is okay with you attending a party, whatever, right? And Jen's just like, as long as, well, Jen's like Teresa said to her, as long as you don't like talk about me and you're not like trying to meddle in between. And Jennifer Aydin, she's like, okay, cool. Look, in Jennifer Aydin's situation, it's not just like real life drama, like, she wants to be invited to parties. It's also about the show. Let's say Jennifer Aydin did not attend Melissa's party for, this episode. Jennifer Aydin, we only would have seen her in like I don't know, maybe a scene or two. What is that? Like 30 seconds to a minute max, let's just say, this episode. And then we wouldn't have seen her again because most of the episode consisted around uh, Melissa's party. So makes sense why Jennifer Aydin is making nice with Melissa Gorga and potentially eventually Joe Gorga. Guys, I said earlier, the bottle and the card would make their way back. And here we have Polly, and I thought his name was Paulie. Anyways, I guess they're capturing him as Paul. But anyways, we got Dolo and Polly bringing the card and the bottle that Teresa asked Dolores to bring, which of course the food is left. And it's just funny because as they are bringing it, we have a scene where Rachel got to the party a little bit earlier. She was one of the first couple guests, it seems like, and she was having a chat with Melissa and, just letting Melissa know how the 9-minute conversation went with Louis and Teresa. And, it just like didn't go well. She, wanted Teresa wanted the Fudas to bring the bottle and the card, but the food has left it. And then Melissa, we see her confessional. She's like, oh, it was probably bugged. There's an air tag. Melissa's like, I want nothing to do with this woman. Like, literally, you said you would never see me again. And then here I am filming for the season. And then they don't even talk when they're in like group settings. I mean, they kind of do, but they kind of don't. I don't know. It's very weird. But then we have this bottle and card make its way. Rachel looks like she just saw a ghost. Like, what the heck? What is that bottle and card doing here? I thought that was pretty funny. And then the way they edited it, I have to say, guys, the way this entire episode, very good editing. It was just like one after the other, very good. All right, the bottle. Teresa knew what she was doing. Had she not given Dolores to bring the bottle and the card to Melissa and Joe's housewarming party, no one would have brought them up. They just, would have gone talking about other things. I'm sure Teresa still would have been brought up in some other way because, hello, Teresa's not here. And people were talking about her quite a bit without her being there. Dolo, explains like, oh, Teresa wanted me to, bring you this bottle. It's sentimental, something about their dad. And then John Fuse is like, oh, that's the bottle. And then Melissa's like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go with the 17,000 other, blue labels we got. And Joe, if you want to read the card, it'll be there with all the other bottles. I have to say, in Joe Gorga's confessional, I totally understand where he's coming from. It's like, if you want to give an olive branch that is authentic and genuine, you could have done that in private. You didn't need to, give it to Dolores to bring it to the party and present it. I totally get where he's coming from. And then what did he do? In front of everyone, he ended up burning the card. So he didn't get to read whatever Teresa wrote in the card. We get a comedic scene from Jackie, unintentionally, of course. She had a bit of a oopsie. She fell. Guys, from here on out, it is not looking good for Jackie. She clearly had a little bit too much to drink. Maybe she did a little bit of pre-gaming. I don't know. She was definitely coming in hot on this entire party. So I don't know what's up with her. So we have the girls, Sans Marge in a group setting, and Rachel Fuda, she's explaining the conversation between the Fudas and Teresa and Louis, how it went, and basically how they didn't end up on and off on a good note. And Jackie chimes in to Jen Fessler's ear, like, oh, of course, Rachel and John, they didn't have the intention of making up because Melissa, like Rachel's best friends, Melissa and Marge are in her ear. So how are they going to make up, Like when you constantly have someone in your ear chiming in, telling you the worst things, that's what you're going to think of another person, essentially, is what Jackie's trying to say. And you can tell Jackie, she's starting. Jackie is starting, calling out Rachel Fuda, how like Marge and Melissa are in your ear. It's not looking good. And look at the side eye Dolores is giving Jackie. Like, girl, what are you talking about? And Jennifer Aiden, just look at that face. She is loving every minute of this. Jennifer Aiden is like, oh, I'm so glad I made up with Melissa that I get to be invited to this party because Jennifer Aiden is just soaking up every bit of it, and we know she's gonna tell Teresa, everything, what went down at this party. Meanwhile, we have John Fuda talking about obviously the conversation with Trey and Louie and how, he didn't get the apology he was expecting, all that stuff. And he's talking about his like misdemeanor or however he worded it. Basically, um, he was young. Like it's not like he did it as an adult. I think he said he was like 16, 17. Like he was a young guy, he was a little bit of Mary Jane. And then he did bring up Gia. He was like, oh, he was younger than Gia when he had a situation with the cops. I don't know. I really don't want to see a lot of scenes with the husbands, and I'm glad we didn't see too much of that. I mean, we saw like some dumb stuff with like Joe Gorga where they were being like really silly, but the husbands just keep them at a minimum. So when Jackie was running her mouth, calling out Rachel Fuda, how Melissa and Marge, your besties, are constantly in your ear. Dolores was looking funny at Jackie, like, "What did you just say?" And then Dolores runs back into the house, tells Margaret what Jackie just said, and Margaret's like, "Oh hell no!" Now Jackie and Margaret, they're already on thin ice, and then Dolores going up to Marge, it's not good. And then they get back into the whole book conversation. Marge is mad that Jackie didn't send it to her, but then Jackie's like, well, it's been sent out to people doing press on it. And then Melissa brings up the fact that Jackie wrote in her book how she relapsed because of Teresa. And Jackie's like, why are you bringing it up? But then Melissa's like, well, it's in your book. And then Melissa's like, oh, she's sick of, talking about the book. Like, that's all we ever talk about. It's not a good look on Jackie. Like, this is what happens when you like switch sides or whatever, or I don't know, you like flip flop. All right, let's get into a scene between Danielle and Jennifer Aiden. Danielle and Jennifer Aiden, I thought these two were the most well mannered at this party, and they were the only two who were able to have like a fairly decent conversation. And it wasn't like heated. They did hear each other out. Was there a little bit of snark? Of course, but it wasn't like anything too insane. And Danielle's just like, hey, you and I, like, how are we? And then, Jen Aiden's like, oh, you want to talk here? Danielle's like, yeah, yeah, let's just, whatever, I'm good. Let's just talk here. So they talk it out. They talk about how when Danielle wasn't at Jennifer Aiden's dog's birthday party, Jennifer Aiden had invited Lena, the girl who did Danielle's hair, and then Danielle didn't pay her. And then that girl ended up going to Danielle's, it was some sort of a charity event that Danielle had held, and the hairdresser, Lena, was there. And apparently there was this like VIP section where she just wanted it. Well, this is Danielle explaining it to Jennifer Aiden at this point. Danielle's like, look, I had a VIP section just for the housewives, just so, we don't have to like, deal with like all the people, all the randoms. And there were just too many people in the VIP section and it was a security issue. And then Danielle also said, Lena brought that girl Laura, who Laura last season caused a lot of drama when it came to just spreading a lot of gossip last season. I have to say, side note, when people go on these shows, they cause a lot of drama. They don't even get paid. I think it's like a little sad. Like, what are you doing? You end up going on all these random blogs. You don't make any money from it. Yes, you get your name out there, you get a little bit of notoriety with the Housewives fan base, but it's like you didn't get paid for it and you caused all this trouble, like for what? Anyways, that's just like my personal note. You guys let me know if you agree with me or not. But anyways, that was Danielle's thing. Like it was a safety issue, security thing, whatever. I did enjoy the not so subtle shade from Jen Aydin about how if you know you're concerned about safety, security, all that stuff, you should have had what did she say? Valet. Like really, you couldn't like spend a little extra on like valet. And then her saying like what you couldn't have like Aiden surgery, plastic surgery or whatever, like on the board. I don't know. I'm always here for Jen Aiden's snarkiness. It's always like subtle. Well, sometimes it's subtle, but I find her humorous. So this was a good conversation. I thought it was fairly productive. The two weren't, ripping each other's head apart. It is what it is. All right, guys, brace yourselves. This was so, so good. Whoever did the editing, this was perfection. Let's just remember why we got that ending. It's thanks to Dolo going from outside the house to inside the house to tell Marge what Jackie had just said. So, this is the catalyst to the ending of this episode. So then we see Jackie go over to Dolores and have a chat. And Dolores just had a chat with Marge. And so here we see Marge being shady. She's looking into her phone, her arsenal, and she's looking at some receipts. She is here trying to find some receipts. So she does that. She sends it to Dolores. She tells her husband, Joe Benigno. And what does Joe Benigno do? He gives the message to, to Dolores to check her phone. Dolores is so suave. She's like, just hold on a minute. I gotta check on my dogs. And what happens in this scene? Jackie girl, you are going to get your head ripped apart. So Marge sends the screenshot of what Jackie said about Dolores to Marge. Joe Benigno, he's, letting Dolo know to check her phone. Dolo, instead of checking on her dogs, she instead reads the screenshot and she's like, I'm a slob. Calls out Jackie right then and there, and you could see Jackie's face. It tells you everything we need to know. She is a little tipsy. I don't really know what the best term would be, but clearly she's had one too many. And then it just hits her like, oh shoot, I got to deal with Patterson Dolores now. So let's look into the receipt Marge had so gracefully sent Dolores. Um, and guys, the subject matter is like so lame. Intentional, she tagged, so this is Jackie. Intentional, she tagged every cast member and spouse except me and Evan. And then Marge is like, no, I don't think so. You said you're going tonight, right? Or you're going, right? And then Jackie is like, I definitely think intentional. She's an effing slob and I hate her. And Marge is like, when did she post this? I love how Dolores goes in on the comment slob, but I guess in Jersey it like means something like pretty bad. Um and not like she didn't go in on Jackie saying to Marge how Jackie hates Dolores. Like those are fighting words. Like those are some like harsh, it's harsh wording. And then we got Dolores calling out Jackie right then and there. You called me a slob? What's Jackie gonna say? Like Patterson, like okay, guys. Technically, Patterson Dolores didn't come out. I think like Dolores was actually pretty calm in this scene. But if she did, this would have been the second time Jackie would have seen Patterson Dolores, which is not a good look, and that's very scary for Miss Jackie. Dolores definitely read Jackie for filth, and she basically said, like, you know what? You're kind of a dum dum for putting it in text, and Marge is a smart one. Like, because Jackie was like, oh, you should see the stuff Marge talks, says about you, blah, 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 but she just doesn't put it on text. So Dolores is like, okay, well, you're dumb for putting it on text. And I guess Marge is a lot smarter than you. And Jackie basically had like no comeback at that point. And seeing Jackie trying to like backpedal in her confessional, that didn't help either. And then, of course, we had Dolores saying, that's nasty, like when it comes to the word slob. She's not troubled by Jackie saying that she hates her, but Dolores is troubled by the word slob. She took that to offense pretty hard, I guess. So that's the tea on these two. What a cinematic ending. Let's just take a look at that scene one more time. This was legit so good. So, so good. We already went through it. Anyways, I had to watch this scene a couple times because I thought it was so amazing. And then, just seeing like Margaret behind Jackie, the camera's catching it. It was really good. You guys, let me know your thoughts on this scene and other scenes from this episode. And definitely, what would you give it? What rating would you give it? Let me know. Now, one thing I want to talk about before we end off this recap. Jennifer Aydin. Jennifer Aydin, like I said, she thoroughly enjoyed attending this housewarming at Melissa and Joe Gorga's. This meme, I'm not even that nosy. Also, me looks, into the screenshot. So, my understanding at this point is Jackie has a new blooming friendship with Jennifer Aydin and Teresa. Jennifer Aydin did nothing. She looked at the text, or she kind of tried to. She did not help out her girl, Jackie. Like, what? Jackie, I thought Jennifer Aydin was your new friend. No one has Jackie's back. Guys, we see it not just uh, on New Jersey, but we see it in other shows too. When you flip flop, when you are not true to anyone or any team, no one ends up having your back. And it just seems like you don't have other people's back because you say crap here and then you say crap here, and then the first people you said crap to. So in this case, Jackie said crap about Dolores to Marge, and now that Marge and Jackie are no longer friends, Marge with her arsenal, which we know Marge has an arsenal. This is clear proof of that. Marge then uses that arsenal to let Dolores know, oh hey, by the way, I'm not friends with Jackie anymore, but if you're still friends with her, this is what she's saying about you. So if you are gonna flip flop, be ready to have receipts presented against you. Guys, we only have, let's see, the half the season left. This is a very short season. There's no cast trips or anything like that. I will be continuing these recaps, so definitely look out for them. I usually have them up on Sunday night, shortly after the episode airs. And I thought this was a really good episode. Things moved pretty fast, but also we have a shorter season, so maybe that's why some of the episodes things move a little bit faster than other episodes. Anyways, if you stuck around till this point, thank you so very much. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do so. Like if you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on Jersey, and I will catch you later.